What is up, everyone? It's SEC Boy up in the building, and today we'll be going over my top 25 predictions for the 2016 to 2017 college football season. Let's get started. Warning: this might be a little biased to SEC teams, considering we're the best conference, but I try to keep it as neutral as possible. So let's get right into it. So let's start off with teams that just missed the cut. That includes Texas A&M, Florida, Boise State, Nebraska, Texas, and Penn State. Some keynotes here. Texas A&M, I believe, is one of the better teams in here, especially with the transfer of I think Trevor Knight from Oklahoma. It's Oklahoma's quarterback. Seems like he's fitting in well. I just think Texas A&M playing LSU, playing Alabama, they should be playing Tennessee. In the SEC West, in the best sub-conference. Oh, and Ole Miss is just too tough. I don't see them winning 8 games. Probably, I'd give them 7 or 6 victories. Maybe 8, but no more than 9 or 10. Same reason for Florida. I think they just, playing Florida State. SEC East is getting better this year with the emergence of Georgia. Boise State was interesting. I thought they would be a better team, especially since they're a non-Power 5 conference team, and I only have one of those teams in the top 25, which we'll get to later. Nebraska, Texas, Penn State, all great teams, just missed a cut. So let's go into the top 25. With 25, I started with Baylor. I know this might be an interesting pick considering they have a bunch of returning talent. But just the rape scandals just completely demolished Baylor this year, firing of Art Briles, their AD directors out. I just don't see them being focused. Their players are dealing with consistent, focus on the media, and I know how hard it is to concentrate with the light of those scandals on you. And honestly, to be honest, Baylor is only in the college football spotlight because of Grills. I mean, before, 10 years ago when Grills got here, 2007, 2008, no one even cared about Baylor football until Grills, brought it to light in the last, 5, 6 years, made Baylor consistently a top 15 contention. 24, Iowa. Just want to give a shout out to the Hawkeyes last season. 12 and that's pretty impressive. But to be honest, it's not going to happen again. Iowa is much tougher schedule. Yeah, they do have CJ Beathard back. Iowa is just they got lucky last year, right? I just don't think they play a much tougher schedule this year. Big Ten gets stronger. I don't even see them making the Big Ten championship. I do see them winning 8, 9 games. Nowhere close to 11 or 12, repeating their season. Number 23 is going to come as a surprise to some people. I'm going to go with Duke. Every single year, everyone says, yeah, Duke's going to go, they're going to go 5-7, they're going to go 4-8, they're going to go 6-6. But David Cutcliffe, the experience of him and his offensive mind, you're not going to go wrong with David Cutcliffe. I mean, offensive coordinator in the 90s for Tennessee under Phil Fulmer, coaching Peyton Manning. He has a great track record. Last season, I believe Duke was like 8-5. They're solid. Spent some time in the top 25. 2 years ago, made the ACC championship. They're just a great team, and they play such an easy schedule. They're playing the weaker division of the ACC. I can see an easy 9 wins for Duke this season, especially since they play Northwestern, which a team they lost last year. I have them beating Northwestern. Now, number 22 and 21, I have Washington and Oregon. A lot of people put Washington higher, 9 offensive returning, 8 from defense, and Oregon a lot higher. But I'll get to that later. I'll get to why I put the Pac-12 teams so low. So number 20 to 16, I got number 28 for Ole Miss. So Ole Miss they do have Chad Kelly returning, but you look at the offense, the loss they've had. Laramie Tunsil gone. Laquan Treadwell, who in my opinion should have been, a top 5 pick at least. His speed killed him a bit. but Laquan Treadmill and Robert, last name like Demonchick or whatever. My bad. I think Ole Miss is a great team, but they are going to get beat up by their schedule. SEC play in the SEC West is going to be brutal this season because you got to play LSU, Bama, and A&M. Those are three automatic teams that are going to be huge roadblocks for Ole Miss. Similarly, I'll make a statement for the Pac-12. The Pac-12 is going to beat each other up this season. They don't have a great stand-up team. Look at Stanford. Yeah, they have Christian McCaffrey, but they're not going to go that far with just the Heisman winner or the Heisman candidate even. Yes, I think Stanford is going to be the front runner for that Pac-12, but they have at least, in my opinion, 5 to 6 teams that can easily contend for first place. I mean, going through this list, we have 17 at USC, 16 UCLA. By the way, 19 they got TCU, 18 they got Louisville. Put UCLA above USC because I believe when they face off, UCLA will get the victory. And that reason is because of this man right here, Josh Rosen. I feel like Josh Rosen, I'm a huge fan of Josh Rosen. I might even make a video about him later. That's how much I like him. This dude is the most NFL ready quarterback I've seen the past 3 years and the next 3 years. This guy with the new offensive coordinator getting promoted, they're going to change to a more under center approach, more pro style offense that Rosen's going to develop into that I feel like he's going to adjust perfectly to. He's going to be great. Great natural arm talent. Great pocket presence. This dude's 6'4", 240 pounds. Apparently he gained 20 pounds. Great pocket presence. And just incredible amount of talent on the line. Solid protection. I could see UCLA dropping 30 points a game. Wouldn't be surprised if Rosen averaged 2.5 touchdowns a game. But UCLA, their defense really needs work. That's another story. But I do have UCLA over USC, which is why they're 16, USC 17. 15 and 11, I got 15 Georgia, 14 Michigan State, 13 Miami. That's Miami, Florida. Sorry, Miami, Ohio. Maybe next decade. 12 Oklahoma State, 11 Stanford. So a lot of people will disagree with me and say Stanford's a top 10 team because of McCaffrey. I disagree with that because you look at Stanford's schedule, who they play. The Pac-12 is stacked. I mean, some people complain about the SEC having tough schedules, playing Alabama, LSU, Ole Miss, Texas A&M. You got 3 top 20, top 15 teams right there. Stanford has to play USC, then they got to go at UCLA, then they got to go at Washington, another top 25 team. Washington State, don't sleep on Washington State. They beat UCLA last year, which is a solid team. They play all those teams 4 in a row. Then they play at Notre Dame, and they don't even get a bye until the end of literally the end of the regular season. And even then, they still have to go at Oregon, at California, which is no sleeper, as we can, in the Pac-12. If you go anywhere, it's on the road. It's a tough win. Stanford has a juggernaut of a schedule. I wouldn't be surprised if they won their game against Kansas State, played USC, played at UCLA, at Washington State, at Notre Dame, at Arizona. If they lost 2 of those games, this whole team's going to fall apart. I think that's what people need to realize. The chances of them winning that 6-game stretch of USC, UCLA, Washington State, Notre Dame, Colorado, and at Arizona is extremely low. I mean, they're going to have a hell of a season. And I feel like if they do, they'll be a college football playoff contender. Um, just going through the list, I think Kirby Smart for Georgia. This isn't their year yet. It's going to be in the future. Kirby Smart is brought in to win a national championship, and they have a great recruiting class, great defense, plus Nick Chubbs. I think they're a notch behind Tennessee right now, and I think they still have somewhat of a tough schedule. You do have to play two SEC West. I forget which two they're playing, but one of them is pretty tough. Have to play Georgia Tech, who don't sleep on them. Even though they were 3-9 last year, they looked extremely solid in their losses. I think they're the best, 3-9, 4-8, 5-7 team out there. And Oklahoma State, I just think they're the second best Big 12 team. And yeah, 10-6. I got 10. The only non-Power 5 team in my top 25, Houston. I think Houston. A lot of people want to put Houston on top 15, but look at their schedule. Someone tell me, other than Oklahoma, they have no one on their list. Honestly, Tom Herman, with his experience and his team playing such an easy schedule, I wouldn't be surprised if they went 11-1. Honestly, 11-1, and that's probably where they're going to go. I mean, if they beat Oklahoma, who knows what's going to happen? Obviously, you do have Baker Mayfield to deal with, and their defense is, a bit questionable, but Houston looks really nice. A lot of folks in Houston talking about going to the playoffs as a non-Power 5 school. So look out for Houston. I think the Houston-Oklahoma game is going to set the tone for Houston's season. Number 9, I got Tennessee. 8, Notre Dame. 7, Ohio State. 6, Michigan. So Tennessee, this year I think is the year. I know all Tennessee fans are going to say, yep, this is the year. But I really think this is the year Butch Jones finally gets his team into the SEC championship. I mean, Josh Dobbs, Jalen Hurd, Alvin Kamara. I mean, that's a three-headed dragon. Butch Jones has worked with dual threat quarterbacks in Cincinnati. He looks ready. I mean, 2 top 5 recruiting classes. It's time to cash in. If I don't see, I mean, Butch already got that big contract extension. If he doesn't get at least 10 wins with the easy schedule that they have, I mean, you get Alabama at home. I know that's not easy, but you get Alabama at home, you get Florida at home, you get Georgia at home. Other than that, you have to go on the road at the Aggies, but there's not really any non-conference scares for them. Their team is easily the best team in the SEC East. Georgia, I mean, I think they're going to get there, but not yet. This year and next year is Tennessee. Number 8, I got Notre Dame. Solid team. Been there, done that. Last year I feel like without the injury of Malik Zaire, they could have been easily playoff contender. I got Michigan over Ohio State. Just because I feel like Michigan State with Jim Harbaugh, you have a Super Bowl winning coach against a college football winning coach. I mean, not Super Bowl. I mean Super Bowl. Contending coach. And I just think Michigan they have such good potential in their team. They do have some young guys, but you look at the recruiting class this year and the use of satellite camps from Michigan and the amount of prospects are coming out of Michigan now. I think Michigan, if Harbaugh stays in Michigan, they're a top 5 team for years to come. 5-1, I got Florida State, LSU, Oklahoma, Clemson, and Bama. Just want to mention top 1 to 4 doesn't necessarily mean this is my playoff prediction. This just means what I predict for the preseason top 25. You can notice no Big Ten teams here and no Pac-12 teams here. Pac-12 is just too competitive. Big Ten, Michigan State, Ohio State, Michigan, all in the same sub-conference. Just want to let you know that. All in the same sub-conference. Someone's about to lose. Alright. I don't think anyone's going to go 2-0 in all those games. Everyone's about to lose in that conference. LSU, Les Miles is ready. He's been on the hot seat. They got Leonard Fournette. They're ready. LSU is stacked. If LSU doesn't go to the playoffs this year, a lot of LSU folks are not going to be happy. They're done with LSU consistently on the border. I think this is why this year I don't have them winning the SEC West per se, because they do play Alabama. But who knows? If LSU beats Alabama, they could easily go to the SEC championship, easily cashing into the playoffs. I think top 3 is pretty much, self-explanatory. Oklahoma, the runaway favorite for the Big 12. Clemson, Deshaun Watson coming back. And Bama, Nick Saban. So yeah, there is my top 25. Please like if you enjoy this, and please comment what you think about my list. Am I completely crazy? Did I completely forget about a team? Or do you think this is pretty accurate? Thanks, and peace.